You were?
No help, yeah.
Oh,
Sorry.
yeah.
There's no help, not paying attention.
Get
And
used to
usually
it.
makes fun of me for watching TV in the middle of when he's talking.
Well, I'm actually trying to run shit here.
Yeah,
so.
and I'm trying
No.
to do research for the show while you're doing the intro. So.
Yeah, he's not only audio mixing now, he's also video mixing at the same time.
Yes.
Because we're broadcasting live. Where are we at? Oh, we're at Facebook, Periscope,
Facebook, Periscope, and YouTube.
YouTube. All
Along with our feed on Mixlr, which I'm going to get up here on
the internet.
Yeah, on our Facebook page here shortly.
This
So-
interweb thing that we
Yeah,
use.
if you're a regular listener, the Mixlr link is going to be the same every week.
Correct.
But the video stuff will be different every time. So, but at the same time, we did try something out new today. Adam essentially scheduled our live Facebook video several hours in advance.
I figured it's probably a good idea, considering
Can't hurt.
we're always...
Like 25 minutes.
Yeah,
late.
so I figured if we actually schedule it, then we'll actually
It'll,
actually be on time.
Yeah.
Look at you.
So, yeah,
Smart.
you like that?
I mean, yeah. Here we are. So let's get right into the news. So after last week when we were on the air last Monday, just come out that officially the three unnamed Michigan State football players were to be charged with some varying form of criminal sexual conduct and stemming from an incident in January. Now we have names. We didn't have those when we were on the air last week. That being defensive end Josh King, wide receiver Johnny Corley, and defensive back Dimitri Vance. Corley and Vance are potentially, if convicted, may receive a maximum sentence of 15 years. Whereas Josh King, because he had a video recording of the incident on his phone, has an additional charge tacked on. It may also result in life in prison.
Oh, that cares. He's facing life for that?
When in combination, he could face life in prison.
Wow.
That's crazy.
So, also, in that time, a former Michigan State trustee, member of the board of trustees, outed a whistleblower, another former member of the university football team, who allegedly is not the right word, reportedly came forward to the coaching staff and reported the incident immediately following it happening, which kind of set all this in motion. He named said player. Turns out some of the story ended up being false at the end, but at the same time, does this ramification kind of add, outing of whistleblowers? Does that kind of add to the culture of fear?
The leakers?
The leakers. Does it add to the culture of fear that you kind of see in a lot of big organizations like this, where people are afraid to come forward, especially if they might get outed and face some negative ramifications for speaking up, doing the right thing. Is that a problem? Not necessarily just here at Michigan State, or here, but is that also a big enough? Let's expand it to all of college athletics. Do you believe that's a big enough problem, and why so many things like a Penn State or a Baylor have gotten out of hand the way they did? Is it that culture of fear?
You're talking the culture of fear in terms of
being afraid to come forward and be exposed in the end because you don't trust people to do the right thing with the information. You understand what I mean? With
Yeah, I think if anything right now I'm hoping people are learning at these levels, whether at Penn State, Baylor, Michigan State, Miami, anywhere, yeah, that it's not worth it. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not...
You see the Jameis Winston accuser came forward, and at the same time, had her name dragged from the mud. Mike McQuarrie at Penn State, who was a college football coach, who will never coach again.
No.
Or ultimately, it took him a while, but doing the right thing in the end. Guys at Baylor came forward there as well, will never reach the same level again. Not to mention the students' lives that are destroyed, and even a more minor incident at the University of Michigan around the alleged incident surrounding Brandon Gibbons and Taylor Lewan.
We talked to one of the whistleblowers.
Yeah, we talked
to one of the whistleblowers on this show who wasn't. He didn't seem
He is
drawn
so
back
scared.
or anything by it or scared or anything like that. Like
But at
you
the
said.
same time, I know that I do forget his name. That was quite a while ago. I do remember us
It was-
doing
yeah.
the show.
He was a former professor.
Yeah, it was like it was a doctor or something, or I can't.
And he ran a website like the Washington Watchdog.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
Or at the same time, he's an older gentleman who one you could classify as had little to lose. Like
Sure.
going forward. Young people who directly witness things or actually have things happen towards them on college campuses, they have everything to lose. Life's ahead of them. Friends, family. The last thing you want to do is, any time someone looks you up on the internet, be associated with that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Is it I see it as a problem. It was a dick move or a bush league move to come out so brazenly on a talk show and be like, oh yeah, such and such former player told Mark Dantonio about this right away, and name the guy specifically. I'm going to choose not to here because you know what, I believe in kind of that. Let's maintain the integrity of the whistleblower. With that being said, that can't happen. And I think the university did at least a good job of saying, dude, the fuck, man. Don't be out in whistleblowers. And people have at least came forward to kind of call them on that shit. So at least, at the same time, stuff like that maybe not happen in the future. You can't undo what you've done here, but hopefully that doesn't happen in the future. This kind of brings me to our next point, our focus point here. Just another incident is Mark Dantonio losing control of the program. You've seen a largest number of transfers in his tenure at Michigan State, coming off a disastrous season on the field, and arguably the biggest point of scandal in his professional career. Have things gotten too big for him at Michigan State to handle?
I actually think it's a little maybe unfair at this point right now to say that he's losing control of the program. Simply because, this is really the first off season, and correct me if I'm wrong, Dorf, that he's really faced any type of real turmoil. I'm talking on and off the field. Before, it was either...
You can argue, just from an on-field perspective, this is the first season that they've 100% wholly failed to meet expectations. You have the one season of the Andrew Maxwell experience.
Well, it's been decades, really, since something crazy like that's happened.
Not necessarily Michigan State. You don't have to
Right,
go
I'm
that
just
far
talking
back.
about Michigan State, right now. But I'm just saying, scandal-wise, like what you said, obviously I think this is the biggest he's probably had to deal with before.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
obviously that, this is really the first that we're actually hearing a lot of this stuff, and it's finally just coming in, like Adam said, it's a little early for that, and it just, I don't think he's losing total control. Obviously he's lost a little bit, you can tell, obviously, but I don't think it's nothing he can't handle.
I don't even know if he's lost any control, to tell you the truth. Everything that has come out so far has led me to believe that
He did Mark Dantonio, specifically in his handling of this incident, and the university as a whole, they did everything right. They followed the playbook.
Mm-hmm.
They got out of the way and let the justice system run its course unimpeded. Just to make sure they handled everything correctly, the athletic department hired an independent investigator and said, here's a pile of money, go figure out if we fucked up. There was one guy that slightly stepped out of bounds and slowed some stuff down. Guess what? He's not around anymore. He got let go for it.
Is that Curtis Blackwell?
Curtis Blackwell. Yeah. The one guy who didn't do it 100% by the book is gone.
Dorf, I think I can't remember if I mentioned this last week or not, but something else you're seeing, and even a week after, and who knows? It could take months, it could take years for more to come
Ultimately, this court case, you're not done hearing explosive details in this case.
No.
At all for a while, because the criminal prosecution and the whole court case are surrounding it are far from over.
Sure.
We're looking at least a year before they're resolved.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a year is generous.
Yeah.
It's already been, what, 5 months? 6 months?
Well, it happened in January,
Yeah,
so
just under 5.
Yeah.
Let's just call it 5.
5.
5 for round numbers. It's already been 5 months, and we're only gotten to here. This is far from over.
It is far from over, but something that, and I don't want it to sound like I'm defending Michigan State as a whole for what originally happened here, but I know that, and Dorf, forgive me if I'm jumping ahead here, but I know, Mike Valena, you're telling me about something that he ran on his show about media being disappointed that there isn't something more with this that they can run with.
Yeah, there seems like amongst the pundits and the columnists, and let's call it the moral dignitaries of the sports world, they're disappointed that there's no scandal. There's no, essentially, the scandal's done. It's over.
Yeah. But I guess what I'm getting at here is that if we're not hearing more come out just yet.
Oh.
And
Give it time.
I think that so far is to the credit of Mark Dantonio in the way that he was able to levy control over the situation. Look, I think something else that we need to learn about college programs is coaches aren't going to have total control over their kids, over their players.
They're gonna do their damnedest.
They're gonna do whatever they want, basically. I mean, we saw it with Ohio State. Everybody blew. Let's be frank here. Everybody blew the Ohio State thing out of proportion, because you know what?
Tattoo gate.
Yes, because what was it? Months later, we had the Penn State thing come out, which kind of blew everything in perspective for the college sports world.
And ultimately, all the tattoo gate was a violation of NCAA rules. Nobody was hurt. No one was scarred for life. Some guys sold some memorabilia that they shouldn't have.
And it was
they
really
exchanged it for tattoos.
In essence, too, the rule in and of itself is kind of bullshit.
I understand why it's in place.
But that's a different.
Yeah, I understand. I understand 100% why it's in place. Doesn't mean I agree with it. I understand what it's trying to protect against.
And it's a.
But it's if you want to call it a victim, it's a victimless crime. It's not even a crime, but that's the best they've got for it.
And it's an argument for a different day.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But like I was saying, and maybe this is. I mean, like I said, I'm not a Michigan State slap here. All I'm saying is that so far, Mark Dantonio has demonstrated a level of control over this situation that I think in some ways needs to be commended, considering at this point right now, I'm not saying what else is going to come out later on, but at this point right now, he's done everything right, so it seems, and
the USA Today wrote a piece about that, essentially commending Mark Dantonio for being the model of this is how you handle a scandal within your athletic department, your athletic program. This is the guidebook. Anybody else who reaches the pinnacle of their profession and is a head coach, ever scandal finds you, this is how you handle it.
And in many ways, too, I mean, it seems like this is common sense, too. Or at least they should be common sense. I mean, if Penn State and Baylor followed these same guidelines, look.
Jerry Sandusky would have been stopped several decades ago, and the Baylor thing would have been stopped immediately.
Yes, and I don't think you're losing any credibility. I don't think you're hurting really the image of your program. I mean, does anybody look when the season starts, when the Michigan State football season starts, and they go through the year and let's say they have a decent year, is anybody really going to hold what happened against with these three players against Mark Dantonio?
Assuming there's nothing more that comes out of it.
Sure.
No.
I mean, I think it would be.
What can you hold against him? What did he do wrong here?
I
He
think
didn't
it
do
would,
anything.
No, I think it would be unfair at that point to hold anything against him. The only thing that you could hold against Mark Dantonio is that one kid. I forgot his. He was the one that came into Mark Dantonio's office. He's dismissed now.
Yep.
For a separate incident. I mean, I think you could hold that against Mark Dantonio, knowing this kid's history in high school, yet you still brought him on the team. That's something that I think you could get on Mark Dantonio.
Yeah. The other player, yes, he did have a delayed signing and a delayed arrival at fall camp due to what ended up being pleaded down to a misdemeanor. Reportedly, he was charged with it because of a school prank gone wrong. You could argue with that.
That's not the same one I'm talking about.
I'm pretty sure it is.
No, the kid that blew the whistle on, he got busted in high school for basically fondling a classmate.
Okay.
Which they
I think we are thinking of different things.
Yeah, which they basically threw out because he went to basically pedophile, or not pedophile, but
some sort of intervention
some type of assault therapy for the for the perpetrator.
Sure. And you know what? You were probably right. If that's a type of person that your institution will tolerate, then you're right. I mean, that's one thing you can hold his feet to the fire for.
But I mean, that's what they got.
And you know what? At the same time, many people believe in second chances, and you know what? He got his second chance, fucked up again, and now he's gone.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't see him get. It's the second he was. The same thing with this here. This incident here. 10 minutes after charges were announced, these guys were gone.
Mm-hmm.
Less than 10 minutes after charges are publicly announced, there's a press release announcing these guys' dismissal.
Now, one thing that Dantonio may have... something that may have made this easier on Dantonio is a couple of things.
Sure.
It didn't happen during the season.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And, actually, I guess it's one thing. Didn't happen during the season.
And at the same time, I think he's addressed that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
he's handled it pretty good.
At the press conference, after this incident, about this incident, he said something to the effect of, I was sickened. The reason we haven't talked football in the last 5 months is I couldn't bring myself to talk about football. There are so much more things that were more important and that I couldn't talk about. So I didn't even want to bother with it. Now, at the same time, you could play that off as political coach speak or whatnot, but at the same time, if it was genuine, he's not wrong either.
No.
I mean, if you give him a charitable, take him at his word, give him a charitable interpretation, I don't think he's giving you any reason not to in his tenure at Michigan State. I'm sorry, go ahead, Sean. The only thing I was going to say is I'm wondering how this would have been handled. In season?
In season or just before the season started.
I bet you it was entirely different. I'm not going to lie. You know what? The pressure to win, regardless of the scenario, is too great.
In season,
It would have been a disaster.
and they're competing in the Big Ten.
I think you see all three of those guys on the field every week.
And then there would have been more chaos and more
But at the same
media
time,
going crazy on this.
But at the same time, assuming that the process was followed, where names wouldn't have been released until charges were officially filed,
then that could have been until the end of the season,
then
too.
you have nothing.
Right.
Then you have really nothing to be mad about. You know what? We're not going to suspend somebody for what may end up being an unfounded allegation.
But they did kick him off of campus.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, they did.
On supposed unfounded allegations.
But at the same time, that wasn't necessarily the football team. That was the university. That's the response to it. They filed a Title IX complaint.
But they also weren't at spring practice either.
Correct. I don't know. I honestly think that even, I consider Mark Dantonio to be a man of ultimate integrity. I still think that the pressure to win, and the two of those three guys have been huge parts of the winning season last year, possibly all three, if things were really going well down the stretch. I honestly can't say that I would have been surprised if they were playing.
It's not.
But they did.
I guess it's not worth arguing because it's a hypothetical. So.
Yeah.
I guess maybe we'll hopefully we won't see it happen, but
hell, it's happened before in Mark Dantonio's tenure, not to quite this scope. Chris Rucker, former defensive back, was in jail for like a week, and then he got bailed out on Friday and played on Saturday.
Well,
for I forget what. I think it was drunk driving related or something like that. He spent like the entire week in jail, didn't practice, got bailed out on Friday, and played the game on Saturday.
Well, I mean, maybe you would suspend him. Maybe, I mean, look what happened right before the Rose Bowl against Stanford.
Mm-hmm.
Did Raleigh Bullock play in that game? Max Bullock?
Older brother. No, he did not.
And that was
arguably the biggest game in the last 25 years of the program.
Yes.
Prior to the playoff game.
They didn't play. So maybe that is a good indication that Dantonio would have.
Yep.
May have done what was right.
Yeah. Got anything else on this subject, guys? All right, let's move on. Before we move on to our next topic, time to shill. If you like what we do here at the Major Sports Network, do if you can find it in your heart, support us on Patreon. Patreon.com/majors. We do have several different levels of extra perks for your support. So every dollar you spend in that doesn't just go into our pockets. As you see, we've been watching our video streams all recently. We've recently done some equipment upgrades, and we want to keep going. Right now, the two cameras that we're currently operating the video live streams with are Adam's phone and the webcam on his computer. How old's the computer?
I don't know.
Pretty old.
I'd say 2007, 2008.
No, it's a lot newer than that.
Oh.
Okay, yeah, on his iMac and his iPhone camera.
Your iPhone's from 2005.
No. Anyway, some of the sound equipment we could replace some of the sound equipment and stuff like that. Ultimately, it's all going back into the business. I know Adam's been doing this for since 2009 in total.
Yeah.
I know a lot of blood, sweat, and tears have gone into that, and you've spent that out of your own pocket to continue to do this as in a hobby sense, non-profit sense for a long time, and we want to keep this going and keep it growing. And part of what we need to do that is specifically in the podcast realm is upgrade some of the equipment. We've got new microphones in the last week or last couple of weeks. We want to keep going in that regard and add some cameras and some more software to the arsenal. So your support through a Patreon donation would be greatly, greatly appreciated. So once again, that's patreon.com/themajors.
There's also a PayPal donate button on our website, which you can go and check that out.
Yeah, Patreon's for the monthly recurring type thing. PayPal's for the one and done type. You see a lot of content creators now. Everybody's got a PayPal tip jar and a Patreon. We're no different. We love to have your support because you know what? Ultimately, this is fun for us. But at the same time, if we want to keep going and keep progressing forward in our level of professionalism, we got to add some.
We would like to make some money.
Yeah. We would love to make some money.
Yes, we would.
Your money. So.
Yes.
And we're not gonna beat around the bush about that.
Nope.
Give us your money, damn it! No. Now, right now, would have been the perfect time to play in the background the Family Guy scene with Brian and Stewie in the bathroom. Stewie's trying to collect his money.
Give me my money! Give me my money, bitch! Where's my money?
Where's my money? That would have been perfect.
I know.
It's too late now. Don't bother.
Okay, now I kind of want to hear it.
I know. I'm kind of in the mood.
Oh, do it.
You keep
Oh
talking.
yeah. Speaking of which, in the Family Guy note, death of the Family Guy family.
Man, why do you have to?
Mayor of Quahog, TV's Adam West, died over the weekend. How old is he?
88.
88 years old.
Mm-hmm. Or Batman.
Yeah.
No, he's Mayor of Quahog. Get it right.
No, he was
I know he was Batman first.
Get it right.
All right, come on, give us it.
It better not be a stupid ad.
It's gonna be a fucking ad.
Stewie, hey.
Hey there. So, it's been 24 hours. Got my money?
Oh, you know what? Just give me till next Friday. I'll have it for you.
Oh, Oh, that's funny. I could have sworn I said have it today.
Yeah, I don't have it, sorry.
Oh, well, all right then. That's good, OJ. Yeah, that hurt? That hurt?
What the hell?
Yeah, it don't feel so good, does it? No, huh? Yeah, that's what happens, man.
Oh my God!
Yeah, that's what happens. Where's my money? You gonna give me my money? Where's my money, man? Where's the money? Yeah, you like that? That feel good? That feel good?
We promise not to do this.
Where's the money, man? Where's my money?
The three of us.
You got till 5 o'clock. You hear me? You got till 5 o'clock.
You freaking psychopath!
Clean yourself up.
We promise we won't do that to you if you choose not to.
Or do. Not
Necessarily.
Play again.
Playing again.
There we go.
No, yeah. We promise not to do that to you. We swear. All right.
Next Dorf swears.
Well, apparently Shawn doesn't promise. So. All right. So next topic. Kind of teased this earlier on the that live show preview that we put up there on Facebook, teasing the live stream tonight. Will the Tigers regret a potential JD Martinez extension if they can even get it done at all? Kind of just did a brief little overview researching for the topic for the show. Similar contracts that have been signed in recent years. What kind of would you expect? It's probably going to take something in the neighborhood of 6 years and $140 to $160 million to get it done. It's a lot of moolah for a 35-year-old right fielder who's taken big regressive steps back defensively in the last couple of years. Just on the surface, in a vacuum, this is the only transaction you're to consider. At that price, are you interested in a reunion with beyond the 2017 season with JD Martinez?
No.
Please explain yourself.
It kind of goes towards to like what you just said there too. The 6 years, $140 million, to say that's what if it does be that. He's been so injury prone, and the time the end of his contract comes up, there's going to be really nobody left. Like, Ken's will be gone, Miguel will probably be gone by then, Verlaine will be gone by then because he'll be retired probably. Victor
I'm going to
definitely
remind
be
you,
gone
Shawn, that JD is 5 years those guys' junior. He's 5 years younger.
Right.
That's essentially half a playing career younger.
Right. But the thing is, he can't stay healthy. That's what bothers me the most. Obviously, if he stays healthy, yeah, let's do this. He could be part of our future, but I don't see him being part of our future because he can't stay healthy.
The future is now with JD
Right.
Martinez. You're not getting any better.
Mm-hmm. He's 29.
I can double check that.
Well, either way, JD Martinez isn't getting any better for this team. He's not getting any better as a player. He's not getting any better for this team.
He's pretty damn good as he is, though.
Absolutely. Absolutely. However,
and he turns 30 in August.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. He's the beginning. He's starting to hit the backside of his career. So, and most players usually start declining. But in my mind, he's kind of progressing up when he stays healthy. But the injuries is what's going to hurt him the most by starting to decline.
The thing is JD Martinez isn't going to get any better than what he is right now.
JD Martinez is JD Martinez.
What he is right now is a 1.1 OPS.
Yes, and you know what is, in a way, is that a little video game-ish? Are those
okay? Even if you put him back to his norm over the last 3 years of his Tigers tenure, he's still a 900 OPS.
But is he? What are his numbers going to be next year? And what are his numbers going to be?
Realistically, if you look at like the general arc of an average athletic career, you'll probably be able to get peak level. This is his peak.
Mm-hmm.
You'll get peak level performance until he's about 32. After that, then it's not linear. It's a parabolic downward progression for most people. And I would classify JD Martinez as an average athlete. He's not some freak of nature. He's not a Mike Trout level, athlete. He's gonna have a following normal downward parabolic projection. With that being said, as a Detroit Tiger, he will not be able to prolong how long it takes to go downhill, but due to the nature of him not being able to move to a less stressful defensive position in the near future. You probably can get away with playing him in the outfield for a couple more more seasons. But at probably his age 32 or 33 season, he's going to need to move to a first base or a DH type role.
And you need to
Based on the concrete roadblock of Miguel Cabrera being in place, that will also need that same type of treatment. If you don't consider he needs that already, those two cannot continue to exist where you're in a level where you can keep them both healthy and on the field, and in the lineup at the same time.
The problem is too is you're already at that problem right now with Victor Martinez on the roster.
Mhm.
Absolutely, but at the same time, the JD Martinez problem, it's 2 years away from being an absolute defensive hamstring.
But the thing is though Miguel Cabrera will still be on the roster,
But
assuming
V-Mart will not.
V-Mart will
Right.
not. But I mean, you're not doing Miguel Cabrera any favors
by making him play defense.
making him play defense every day, and a guy like JD Martinez on the roster who's going to need to require a DH or first base spot if he's going to
play 145 to
Exactly,
160
and-
games a year.
and at that point too, if we want to keep on looking ahead, what's going to happen to Nick Castellanos? If they keep Nick Castellanos on this team, is he going to continue playing at third base, or
is he going to
I
move
don't
to
think he
first
should.
base?
I don't think he should.
I don't think he should either. And Nick Castellanos is a long-term solution.
His
here.
long-term home is at first base.
Yes. So I mean, you're still looking at another logjam here with basically those three players. If you end up bringing back JD
You've got
Martinez.
3 more years of club control with Castellanos. I believe it's 2 or 3. So at the same time, you're really not, and he's not going to absolutely destroy you as a third baseman until his club control's up.
No, he won't.
So with that in mind, I think you can kind of prolong that decision for a couple more years.
I'm just looking at the.
I don't disagree with your.
No, I
overall
know you're not. I'm just saying that. I mean, how many times have the tires been burned by something like this?
Plenty of times.
quite frequently recently.
Which one was that?
Quite frequently recently.
I'm saying who was it?
Specifically, look at the amount of dead money, not necessarily in outfielders, but dead money in players they have right now. You've got what, $5.5 million from Mark Lowe, $8 million from Mike Pelfrey, and $16.8 million plus a $5 million buyout for the following year. Anibal Sanchez, of guys who are not playing for you. Plus, then you have the chronic underperformers of Jordan Zimmerman and Victor. Well, Victor Martinez has been a lot better of late, but you know what? As a DH, no defense, DH only player, he's still not a $16 million productive player.
Absolutely not.
Like he's being paid. Still above average big league regular, but when all things said and done, not a good value for $16 million.
What is it with the Tigers doing that to right fielders?
What's that?
Let's do extensions or give them a stupid contract. You could look back at, what's it, Juan Gonzalez, Bobby Higgins.
Juan Gonzalez, I think that was a different era of Tiger baseball. Juan Gonzalez was a overpay and attempt to get asses in the seats. Because the Tigers were in the middle of a baseball dark age. Juan Gonzalez had some star power, was a good player, and just outside the edge of the prime of their career. That people would probably show up to watch for a season. And you know what? They dumped a pile of cash in front of him and said, "Come on, let's go. Let's come here, and you know what? You're going to lose. We're paying you more than anybody else will." And so he did. That's what Juan Gonzalez was. Bobby Higgins, same thing. Subpar player, the only player on
He
the
had
team
one
that
good
fans
season.
knew. Only player on the team that fans knew, so they overpaid to keep him as a marketing tool. Outfielders now, I don't think they've gotten themselves in this problem in a while. Remember, they traded Curtis Granderson in prime. They let Austin Jackson walk. They traded Austin Jackson in prime. They traded Yoenis Cespedes in prime. You keep going down the list. They haven't gotten themselves in trouble by overcommitting to outfielders. Where they've gotten themselves into trouble is overcommitting to aging pitching.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I can't even, despite the struggles this season, classify the Miguel Cabrera contract as an overcommitment.
Mm-hmm.
I really can't.
Miguel Cabrera, though, it's such a special circumstance because you're talking about the best
Once
pure,
in a generation
yes,
player.
you're talking about the best pure hitter in the game. He's going to go down as one of the best hitters of all time. So you can certainly understand where the team was coming from with something like that. And in a sense, too, you can understand with Justin Verlander.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he signed his contract.
Justin
after,
Verlander still, his contract, despite the 2 years before it was up, is still has not proven to be a bad contract.
No, it hasn't.
You're still getting market value production for him. You're getting what you pay for with him.
I still think, though, JD Martinez is. It seems like he's a guy that's going to bite you in the ass down the road. If they had, what was it, 5 years and 140?
Probably six. Six and 140.
6 and 140, 150. Again, I mean,
which comes down to what, 24 to 26 million a year.
Yeah, I mean, come year 4 of that deal, it's going to be hurting. When he's
but at the same time, that's the cost. That's essentially the cost of playing the free agent game and going and getting the top free agents. You look at like the Robinson Cano contract. That's going to be awful for 4 years.
I understand that, but do the Tigers? Look, if you're a team, that doesn't have a bunch of dead money on hand, then yes, go ahead and do it. But if you're the Tigers, who already have, like you said, Dorf, who already have a shit ton of dead money on the books right now, can you really afford to roll the dice on a guy like JD Martinez, who isn't going to be playing the outfield for you in a couple of years, probably. Who isn't going to be getting any better for you at the plate? I don't know if it's worth that risk, or even if that risk is in the cards, because they've already.
And I don't disagree with you.
I know you don't.
Honestly, I think JD Martinez is best served in the progression of his own career and in the best long-term interest of the Detroit Tigers to be traded at the deadline, whether they're still going for the playoffs or not. I think it's in the best interest of the club to part ways with him. Because you look at the report that was published by Anthony Fennick today. Despite what you think about Anthony Fennick, talked to a couple scouts that reportedly, when he asked them about, hey,
does it have the sound of a 9th grade term paper?
No, this one actually had that. You're heavily off track. Based on what he spoke to these couple of scouts, based on the reported return, that what you can get for JD Martinez, especially because you're not going to get him back next year, you're not a true contender this year, it's worth moving. One NL scout said, absolutely, I'll give up my, 1A type prospect, so a top 100 type player, maybe another guy. And an AL scout said, absolutely, I'll give up my number 2 and number 4 guy. I wouldn't hesitate to part ways with my number 2 and number 4 guy. Quote, I would happily give away our number 2 and number 4 prospect.
You have to do it.
That's a good haul.
Yeah.
For an expiring contract, that's a damn good haul.
You have to do it.
It was kind of almost like the same situation in the Cespedes when we got Fulmer.
Yeah, you got Michael Fulmer. Who else came along with him? Jarlin Laborte.
Yeah.
Who's a blooming relief ace. Is a 22-year-old AA. And a guy you flip for Shane Green.
I'll take that.
Yeah, you got a great return. And at the time, I believe Fulmer was like the number 2 or 3 prospect in the Mets system.
Something like that.
Laborte was like 12th, and Luis Sessa, the other guy they got, was like 17th. And guess what? JD Martinez is a better player.
We have a comment regarding this. Brandon McKinney. The time is now to trade JD. Unfortunately, they cannot put another big contract on the books, and his stock has never been higher.
Yeah, absolutely. Even for a 2-month rental, any low market team can probably find $4 million to add that at his caliber at the deadline.
Let somebody else make the mistake of signing JD Martinez.
Yeah.
To a long term.
Let's move
to
on.
a 5-year deal.
Let him do it. And at the same time, outfield prospects are about the one thing you have in your system that's close to major league ready. Corner outfield prospects. And guess what? They're all left-handed. Hallelujah.
I mean, yeah.
Some lineup balance.
I mean, Christian Stewart's probably going to be a late season call-up. Well, he will be a late season
He
call-up.
better be a late season call-up.
Who knows? Maybe he'll be up before then.
Let's check in on him real quick. He is currently in Double-A Erie.
Okay.
Current stat line for Erie: 266, 363, 566, good for a 918 slugging percentage. 15 dingers, 41 RBIs, 31 walks, 64 strikeouts, and 207 at-bats.
Okay.
So he's hitting exactly his same career as his minor league average. He's had a higher slugging percentage this season, and his on base is marginally down. But the only concern with Christian Stewart's game essentially is A, will he strike out too much, and B, he's a butcher on defense.
Yeah. He's Stephen Moya bad.
I don't think he's quite that bad.
No, not quite that.
Stephen Moya, didn't he get demoted to Double-A?
Is he dumb and young bad? I don't know. Dude.
Yeah, I think Moya got put down to Double-A, and he's even doing even worse.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
I'm looking this up. Not that I ever hope to recoup anything for Stephen Moya, but
I think he's playing at Double-A right now.
no, he's currently listed on the Toledo roster.
Ha!
I swear they were just talking about that on the
He
radio.
played yesterday against Louisville.
Did he?
Yeah, he pinch hit. He was over.
Isn't he like batting like 1 something?
He is currently on the season hitting 173.
Awesome.
Make way!
Yes, Michael Valenti. In Mr. Moya's case, hit home runs.
For God's sake.
So just I know this isn't on the rundown sheet. Just name one contender you think that can use his services and what. I'm not going to ask you what you hope to get back for him from that system.
What team that you think that would need him the most?
What would be willing to pay for his services down the stretch? Who do you think would be interested in acquiring him most?
Baltimore.
Baltimore already has too many hitters in that now. So
But they're going to put him right field. I mean, contenders.
So what are they going to do with Mark Dantonio?
Mark DH.
Okay, what are they going to do with Trey Mancini?
Trade him.
I'm the Tigers. I don't want Trey Mancini. Also another hitter without a home. It's Mark Trumbull light.
Basically. And Trump was not doing good this year.
Okay. So Sean says Baltimore. Adam, you got any?
I'm trying to think.
I know. I'm like, it's really hard.
I have an answer.
Maybe the Diamondbacks.
Who?
Los Angeles Dodgers.
I was gonna say them, but they. I don't know. It seems like they're in on everybody.
But what would you get from them? Like you have Puig out in right field.
I don't want Yasiel Puig back,
Yeah.
but I'll take a look at their system on another day and say I'll take this guy. I mean, I know I'm not going to get Cody Bellinger back, but should they be willing to give him up at this point after his high level success? But I wouldn't be afraid to ask for Jock Peterson. Peterson's having a down year.
Jack Peterson for JD Martinez.
I'll take Jock Peterson to prospect for JD Martinez.
Yeah, I'd do it too. Why not?
Right now,
Do it up.
center field salt. Left-handed power bat. Oh shucks.
That was it.
Potential top of the order left-handed power bat. Oh shucks. Still only 24.
Yeah, I take it.
There you go.
He's currently on the DL. But he only has 2 home runs.
Yeah, he's not playing much.
Mm-hmm.
He lost his job.
Right.
Chris Taylor's hitting like crazy. Gotta find something to put him.
I wouldn't mind it.
So, next topic here tonight. So we're gonna move on. Ball don't lie is what I tell him. For this, everybody's favorite Rasheed Wallace declared that the 2004 Pistons would beat the 2017 Golden State Warriors. He's crazy, right, guys?
Yeah, I there's in my opinion, I don't think they would win at all, but they would, put up a fight for sure. The 2004 Pistons, if they did, they might win maybe 1 or 2 games, maybe, but there's no way that they could beat the Warriors.
Sean, I honestly think Golden State, if it wasn't for some shenanigans on the part of the NBA, would have been the only team in history to run through the postseason undefeated.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know what though?
happened to them in Game 4 was some bullshit.
You know what though? People are quick to dismiss Rasheed Wallace as being crazy when he says something like this. Call me a homer if you want. I think they would give him a run for their money.
That's what I'm saying.
And Look,
I think both teams have an equal level of hustle and like ability to play together as a team. But so those two things are equal. The Warriors are still infinitely more talented.
let's not forget though who the Pistons took out in the finals. They took out a Lakers team
loaded with
that
veterans.
had
and they're
no, hold on.
manipulating
No, you know they took out a Lakers team loaded with They took out Kobe Bryant in his prime. That's who they took out.
Fair.
They took out Kobe Bryant in his prime. They took out Shaq when he wasn't totally, out of shape
When he
and
was gone.
yeah, that's who they took out. And yes, there were aging veterans on that team.
Karl Malone and Gary Payton.
But who cares? They took out Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal
both
in their primes. And that's nothing to scoff at, Dorf.
It's not. I'm not.
But
scoffing.
Sean,
I
was he scoffing?
Yes,
They had Kobe Bryant,
Yeah.
Shaq. Oh yeah, they
I would-
just had Kobe Bryant. Just Kobe Bryant, who's arguably the best basketball player to ever set foot on the court.
Here.
Get out of here with that shit, man. What the fuck?
Whoa.
Are you kidding me?
Whoa.
Are you kidding me? No, they would give them a run for their money. I'm not saying that they would beat them, but let's not forget too that the Eastern Conference.
You could also even look at they took out the Pacers too, who you had Reggie Miller and Jermaine O'Neal in their primes too.
Jermaine O'Neal.
Jermaine O'Neal was damn good in his prime. Was damn good.
They had to run through. Who else did they run through that year?
Milwaukee and the New Jersey.
Yeah, and New Jersey wasn't.
Mhm.
Was that what New Jersey had Vince Carter?
That's what I'm going to look up.
Vince Carter and Jason Kidd,
Yeah, and
So Vince Carter, Jason Kidd. They ran through that team. They went through the Pacers, and then they went through
the Bucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jason Kidd, Kerry Kittles, Kenyon Martin when he was good, Alonzo Mourning in his kind of end of his career.
Yeah,
But,
Mourning was a corpse at that point.
They did not have Vince Carter.
Where's Vince Carter? Was he still in Toronto?
I think he was still in Toronto then.
Yeah, he must have been in Toronto.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was still in Toronto. They had Jason Collins in his early years. That was halfway decent there. That was a good team, and Richard Jefferson too.
Yeah, I just don't. Sorry, I'm just not going to maintain that. I don't think that's going to happen. Moving on, last topic of the night. How will the Lions get over the loss of offensive tackle Taylor Decker? Had surgery to repair a torn labrum. The official timeline given for recovery is 4 to 6 months. I did talk to my brother, a practicing athletic trainer in a large state institution, and he said if the Lions were smart, he would not play in the 2017 season. It would be in the best interest of both Decker and Lions long term for him to not see a single snap this year. With that in mind, 4 to 6 months still hasn't missing the start of the season, even in the short end of that time spectrum. How are the Lions going to place Taylor Decker? Doesn't seem like they're satisfied with the options internally. Are they destined to make a trade before the season begins? Or because free agency's done at this point.
Yeah, possibly. I would.
And there doesn't seem to be outside of maybe a Brandon Albert, might be a cap casualty, or a not given a fuck casualty in Jacksonville. There's really nobody left who is starting caliber left tackle pedigree that may be available.
They got to see where they are. I mean, as far as him being shut down for the season, they got to see where they are in the standings. I mean, because if they're out of it, he's worst case scenario early December. Season's almost over. You have, 3 weeks after that?
Yeah.
Well, at the same time, I'm assuming he's going to be put on the PUP list regardless, which means he can return to practice week 6, and I don't think he can start playing until week 8.
Okay.
Before when they then have to make a decision to activate or IR.
Mm-hmm.
With that in mind, are you comfortable with the guys in house to get through the first 8 weeks of the season?
To be honest, I think they're going to have to try to. I'm like, you can't really go out and sign somebody. Because obviously, if you're going to try to get somebody who's going to replace Decker and be as good as him, you're going to have to give him a decent amount of contract.
So
and I think that's
there isn't anybody left. They all have teams already. The one guy that played a little bit of left tackle, there's two guys still in the market that started some games in the NFL at left tackle last year. Both of them have their problems. Cyrus Kwanjo, formerly the Bills, was found butt-ass naked asking the cops to shoot him in the middle of the fucking field in Buffalo earlier this offseason. He was brought in by the team for a visit earlier in the week and left without a deal. The other is King Dunlap, was a starting left tackle for the San Diego Chargers last year. Is hurt.
I think that. I guess I'm not incredibly worried about it.
Okay.
I'm worried about it a little bit, but this Lions team has done a lot, and it sucks on the same token alone that
Use your best offensive line.
they've done all this work, and all of a sudden,
You're back to having a weak point up front.
But do they really? I mean, they got a good blocking tight end this offseason.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel Darren Fells.
Yeah, they got Wagner. They've got TJ Lang.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the Decker thing hurts, but I think that they can manage.
Yeah, I think we have
Without
enough
it.
that can platoon to get the job done.
Yeah.
Until
What's
you
Manny
get back.
Ramirez doing?
Sitting at home,
playing
yeah.
baseball in Japan. Oh wait, wrong Manny Ramirez. He was a guard anyway.
He was a good center.
Yeah, he's a better guard.
Not with Peyton and Manning.
Yeah, he was a better guard.
Was he the one that fucked up the snap in the Super Bowl?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they did sign veteran, reserve tackle Tony Hills, who's played like 30 games over the last 6 or 7 seasons, but only has made like 2 starts.
We'll get some here.
I can't body. Honestly, out of the internal option, that being Cornelius Lucas, Joe Dahl, and what's the other guy? Corey Robinson. I honestly think the upside in athleticism of Joe Dahl kind of gives him the edge on that. Whether or not he has the strength to hold down the position is to be determined. So, all right. Last but not least, Tigers are cut room floor time. Tigers MLB draft starts tonight. They pick 18th. I don't think they picked yet.
No, they're on like the 6th pick right now.
Okay, so they're still.
Right, they still got to wait.
They're like an hour away.
Right.
Because the MLB has decided to turn into the draft spectacle that the NFL is, and do their first round over 4 hours live on TV. Whereas then, like, they do 20 some odd rounds tomorrow, and then another 20.
Yeah, they only do
rounds.
3 today, and then they do
3 today,
Yep.
and then rounds 4 through 20 tomorrow,
Yeah.
and then like 20 through 40 the day after. Not that anybody beyond round 20 ever sees big leagues, but
right.
because that's when they're drafting, members of the organization's grandchildren and college football players who used to be baseball players. So, all right. Without further ado, that is going to wrap up episode 140 of Motor City.